Had to watch women I've got to know get black eyes, have nervous breakdowns in front of me. I'm trying to hang on, sister. I even went as far to get a bounty hunter to try to get them out of here.
So here we are in Austin, Texas. What's your name?
My name is Yalad.
Yalad?
Ola Hayel.
And what's your dog's name?
His name is Ahava Bear, which just means love together bear.
Love together bear.
Uh-huh.
You're homeless, correct?
Yes, I was out here. I've been out here for the last year. I've been off and on homeless. I had a career law enforcement fiance that died just a few weeks before we were to marry, and then my mother died a few days later. So I was using one obituary to write the other. It's a very overwhelming experience.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
And at the time, I was also volunteering full-time at the Veterans Hospital in Dallas, and I worked full-time and then was caring for a lot of vets. And so I've just seen it, different perspectives, and I want to see law enforcement, all our law enforcement, come together and be better, something much better. I think any industry, any type of organization can get slack. And when they get slack, we start losing our heroes. We need our heroes, people that will lead, people that will step up, and, people boost me up, and then I can boost somebody else up.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I'm not from Texas. I'm actually from Baltimore.
Oh, are you?
And one of the first times I come in here, I just see a lot of tents. Like, we do have a homeless population in Baltimore, but it's not to the scale like this.
I'm about to move to a city in Texas that there's probably no homeless people there, maybe one or two. And it will be refreshing because I've lived out here every day with it. And I don't think that the original idea of anyone was to have a tent city per se. But I think when housing is in a crisis, I think when shelters are full, there's no other means, people just throw up a tent and, for their privacy, and kind of looks, awful with grandma's mattress out there and just having. So I think people put tents up for some privacy and a sense of home until they can negotiate with the system and find resources or jobs or something. Some people have pretty severe disabilities, and of course there's always the drug problem. Drug problems, people handle problems and crises different. Some people grew up in circumstances I don't even know if I could have lived through as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, some things are just like, my God, you lived through all of that? So we meet all kinds of people out here, first responders, people like me that I'm the last person you would think would be homeless. But we're going to make a good story out of it. I got my dog, and he's a good boy. He helped a pregnant rape victim. She was 3 months pregnant, decided to keep the baby, and jumped him up 2 weeks out of the shelter. He knew exactly what to do, provided protection, and then crisis intervention. And then the gentleman that had done this, a noble person came, meaning like a moral person, came and sat down with the gentleman and talked with him for about 30 minutes, showed him love, showed him respect. So hopefully he'll never make that mistake again. Hopefully God, can just heal both circumstances. So just trying to make use of my time that I've spent out here. How can I turn that into a talent? And then what can I do with it? So I want to start a nonprofit ministry, Talitha Kumai, and Krieger K9, which is Weapons Tactile Special Forces. Now, that's a separate organization of a policing force after listening to all of these people and listening to who my fiance was as a man that had spent a lot of time with law enforcement. What can I offer, having heard these circumstances, the cries of the people? Because things have to change. I think when you can honor a little child, when you can honor God's most feeble, and homeless they are some of the most feeble people, but they've reorganized to cut down safety problems, to do things. I've watched these kids, and they are kids compared to somebody older like me, reorganize themselves and take leadership positions to make sure all the people out here have a chance at getting a home, a chance to get somewhere safe, a chance to get off the streets. And COVID happened and those tents increased, and there's nothing we can do about that. I got my shot today.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't going to get one, but I want to see dear old Dad. And he had COVID, but I mean, not COVID. He didn't have that. He had a lung problem some years back, one of those smokers that quit, and he's doing really, really good. So us kids, to be able to go see him, we have to have the shot. So anyway, it was a Johnson & Johnson one. I felt fine afterwards. I've had to do similar things to work in the health field, so I'm okay with it. We've had low amounts of sickness out here. There is depression. There's incredible amounts of depression. And some of the people with the, oh my gosh, we have to leave, we don't know what to do. Some of them are very upset.
Speaking of depression, I see you seem very, very positive. What do you do to stay mentally healthy?
I stay in touch with the part of myself that I've known for years. I was a personal health trainer for 10 years, and I'm going back to that work. But I had to learn to pull myself up out of, shall we say, some darkness that the marvelous light needed to enter. I had to rely on some things that I'd already been taught, skills, things that I had to do. Some of these people were not as fortunate. They've never coped with, drug problems or emotional problems or crisis to this nature. It's one of those, you've heard the story where if a crab tries to get out of the barrel, all the other crabs pull it down. It can be like that in homelessness. And you think, gosh, why can that person not leave? Why can't they leave? It's the mentality, the depression, the overwhelming of, my God, my life really is in this circumstance. And they, at different times, having to pull each other up. I had a horrific near-death experience, a horrific attack out here. And I pulled it together and moved past it, but it's not a circumstance I would want anybody to go through. And just day by day, my dog helped me through it. He saved my life, and literally keeps saving my life. So it can be harsh reality for people who've never been out here. Some of the shelters have managed to renegotiate things so that with COVID they can get a few more people in. And I know some of the Community First, they have vegetable gardens, animal gardens, and some of these people are going to be able to move in that direction. They're trying to make efforts around the churches to sign up, get housing. I didn't apply for any of the stimulus checks. I kind of thought I would be working, but in reality, where I am, I figured go ahead and apply for them. If I get those, then that's great. I'll be many more ahead.
And as a woman, like I said, you're my first woman I have on this channel.
Yes.
How is it for you, just being a woman not in homeless?
It is very difficult. We even had FBI investigations in this city regarding what I call the women of Chavez. And I'm going to write a book about it, because in homelessness, no matter what city you're in, there's a small population of women, and that small population of women, they're very vulnerable to violence, not being able to find help. The lines for men are real long. So if we can help the males get the jobs, get up under the males and help them with work, it frees up other resources to start helping your women. Most of them recovering domestic violence. I've had to watch women I've got to know get black eyes, have nervous breakdowns in front of me. I'm trying to hang on, sister. I even went as far to get a bounty hunter to try to get them out of here. And I'm only talking 20 women at the most to try to come in with a bounty hunter and move them as fast as possible. So I'm watching and I'm waiting to see how these kids organize and bring freedom in. And I'm proud of them. I try to be the balance. I try to say, there's good hero cops, just like there's good heroes out here. But we don't stand for things that are evil. When things are evil, they're evil. And public corruption, that's an evil thing. and we all have to stand against it. We all have to stand against it. I've worked the police department. I've let them know I'm not your whatever. I'm a cop's widow. I'm widow of a law enforcement officer. I'm somebody that's had to listen to the pains of his life being in law enforcement, loving it because he chose a career in it, and then having to listen to these voices. And, I hit a cop. I was so mad because they didn't hear me. I didn't have any other choice. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So I think community relations is the answer. When you can get out here and talk to the people, we have an excellent program called APD Host. And I feel like that was a wonderful, wonderful solution. But Austin, Texas is needing more in their sex trafficking vice unit. If we could have a stronger vice unit here that couples very nicely with the types of problems out here, and people can get served more quickly. But different states work it out different ways, even different cities. Governor Abbott mentioned, why don't we try something like San Antonio? Some of the things that have worked there might work here. So the mayor and him have had to, just balance out Democrat, Republican, one view, another view, and still come together and be leaders and try to work these very difficult problems out. Jesus said, put them in a hotel room. Well, who can argue the words of Jesus? If Jesus said, put them in a hotel room, then I'm sure he's got all the resources we could possibly imagine. It seems like, oh, lady, well, did you ever try what God's word said? Did you ever try that? Do you have an apartment with a room? Do you have a little house out back or something? Do you have some of those things? If you can do that for South by Southwest, you can do that for one homeless person. You can. Now, there are other resources to help people that might be more crippled in their circumstances, but they get seen when some of the other people move out. They get seen and they get heard. But, sorry, he's such a barker. He lets me know what's going on.
Oh, that's fine. But, yeah, I just want to say thank you, man.
Sure.
Thank you so much. You see, you know so much. You're so knowledgeable about everything. In your past work and the law enforcement and everything.
I'm thankful for past work. I had a handicapped child who lived in this city for 10 years, and I was kind of hanging on here thinking he was moving back, but he recently got married, and after a little bit of marriage, they're going to have a baby, and so I lost one baby during COVID, and that was bad. She was a little African-American, or, African-European little baby. She was only about that big, and that's hard, and it is hard. My daughter survived it, so she didn't know she had COVID, and it was in the summer months, and I believe she's in heaven. My mother's in heaven. People I love are in heaven, so they get to hold her and spend time with her. That's what I believe. So it's last year was a difficult year. It's not a year I want to relive. But others out here pick me up. Sometimes you think, well, gosh, I don't know what to do. And they say, well, this is how I handled this. And then you pick them up by their bootstraps. And nobody wants to see anybody act violent. And they have signs, and they know when they feel suppressed, when their voice starts to feel suppressed, then they act out. I'm going to fight for our rights. We're not going to be poor, handicapped people sitting out here starving to death. We're not going to be like the years of the Nazis, I mean, nobody wants to see that. Up north, you might see them laying out there in the cold and dying, and it's survival. People will do what it takes to survive. And I just try to, they're younger than me, so I try to share the balance. Just remember, if your voice is to be heard, it's got to be a peaceful voice. You can be passionate. I said, you can even yell all you want, but you've got to work with the system that's there. You've got to work with it. You can change it even. You can be a great voice to change it, but you have to do it peacefully. You're respected that way, you're heard that way, and that's how all change occurs. And I tell them, don't become the enemy. Don't become the thing that you're striving so hard not to become because you're passionate about your view. So we all have different gifts to survive out here. it's like a common thing. You have your one talent. There's a beautiful little lady, and she always knows how to find the extra food. And so she'll carry an extra bag or two just to have some extra food where somebody didn't have lunch or dinner that day. She'll have an extra something, tuna fish and some fruit or something. And so you'll find there's a brother over there. He's really good at making sure everybody picks up their trash. It's almost like a common knowing that you have one talent that you bring.
Yeah.
They know my dog helps keep off riffraff, you know.
Yeah. And it's a community out here. I'm looking around.
Yeah.
You guys have a community. There's tents everywhere, but it's a community.
Form these very uncommon bonds and share and create a community, because you have to survive. And there's negotiators out here. There's people that, you know, their emotions are so high, and some of the stress they live through. I watch some horrendous things, but we have peace negotiators out here that can work with a couple, that can talk to them and sit with them and help them feel more still and not so scared.
I hate to cut you off, but I know my camera battery's...
That's okay.
It might die soon.
Yes.
So I just want to say thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for coming out here and sharing with us.
Thank you so much. Well, that's all this I had to get out and had to get somebody, get a story or something.
Yes.
You know, but it's nice meeting you. Remind me what your name is again?
It's Yalad.
Yalad.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yalad, you've been seen and heard.
Thank you. Thank you. To
You
any
truly
women out
are a
there,
blessing
hang in there.
in this community, man.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you, brother.
All right.